Now to the debate over health care reform. Tonight, thousands of your neighbors turned out for a town hall hosted by Congressman Kevin McCarthy. And at times, it was heated. 7 News' Tim Callahan is in our newsroom tonight with highlights of the event. Tim?
Well, good evening, Tammy. Congressman Kevin McCarthy says he wanted to host a forum to clear the air amid angry protest and rigorous debate. He says addressing concerns and answering questions is key to solving this critical issue.
We have to solve these problems. We can solve these problems.
Inside a near-full Icardo Center at Cal State Bakersfield, Congressman Kevin McCarthy spoke to his constituents from both sides of the aisle.
I think this town hall meeting is more than just about health care. I think it's about the frustration of Washington.
And those in attendance took their questions center stage.
Why are they hurrying when this is not even supposed to take effect till 2013? They've got 4 years to throw it out, work it out, make it something that works.
Others address concerns about the quality of care to be delivered to the disabled.
We do not have the greatest health care system. We're suffering. And we need our government to stand up for us.
And children with special needs.
And it's going to happen where they're going to decide whether my child is worth insuring rather than your healthy child.
Some asked how elected officials in Congress would be included in reform.
I say make Congress part of the solution by making them part of the program.
Other town hall meetings on health care across the country have been met with angry protests, but here
I thought the public was very respectful to one another. I thought they expressed their desires and their needs, and they asked the questions. I mean, we stayed around a couple hours later just continuing asking questions. And what that means is people are more engaged in politics than ever before.
A healthy debate that's sure to continue.
Tim, thanks. There are differing opinions tonight about how helpful the town hall was in explaining the health care bill. 7 News' Jennifer Duck has that part of our coverage.
Now, I'm going to be very frank and forthright with you. I'm opposed to that bill.
Several thousand turned out for Congressman Kevin McCarthy's health care town hall. Unlike some other town halls across the nation, the crowd was fairly tame, but that didn't mean everyone agreed.
It seems like he's more interested in just voicing his opinion rather than hearing what other people's thoughts and concerns are.
Ann Williams was one of the handful of protesters at the event who tried to dispel rumors about the so-called death panels that concern senior citizens.
That's typical of the kind of nonsense and lies and so forth that have been floating around on this. Haven't impressed me one bit.
Although there was disagreement, many people were pleased with the information given by Congressman McCarthy's office.
As the thousands of people filed in, they got information like this. It's a constituent resource book, and it answered questions about taxpayer-funded abortions and so-called death panels and other questions people had about health care.
Jeanette Pruitt came to the town hall with an open mind, but after hearing Congressman McCarthy, she now opposes the bill.
I have pre-existing conditions, and I think that that would be a really huge concern if the government runs health care.
Jack Grippy feels Congressman McCarthy should have corrected some questions asked by the crowd.
It was a Vietnam vet who was concerned about socialized medicine when in fact he's relying on Medicare and the VA administration medical care, which is all government run. I don't think these people really quite understand what they have and what they're fighting against.
In Southwest Bakersfield, Jennifer Duck, 17 News.
Well, the issue of health care reform has stirred up debate across the country. And as you saw live right here on ABC 23 last night, for 2 hours, Kern County residents had the chance to step up to the mic and discuss their concerns with Congressman Kevin McCarthy. ABC's Chris Van Horn has more.
Honorable Kevin McCarthy.
To a thunderous applause, Congressman Kevin McCarthy kicked off the meeting by letting the crowd know exactly where he stands on H.R. 3200.
Now, I'm going to be very frank and forthright with you. I'm opposed to that bill. I'm opposed to that bill because I'm not opposed to health care reform. I'm one who believes we have to have it. I'm opposed to that bill because I read that bill.
During the 90 minutes or so of statements, questions, and answers, the conversation centered on a wide variety of issues surrounding the 1,017-page bill, from the public insurance option to how the government will pay for it, the legality of the bill itself, and whether congressmen and women have actually read the resolution.
How can they sit there and say we don't need to read the bill?
No matter the question, passions were high, those against the bill and those for.
You people who are healthy, you think, oh, we have the world's greatest health care system. Ask the disabled who came here today. We do not have the greatest health care system. We're suffering.
While there were several people in favor, the room was certainly against it.
Defeat this bill.
Let me ask you a question. Really, how do you feel about the bill?
Anytime you could have 3,000 people show up because they care about where their country is going, that is better for society. They're more informed of what's happening. But you're able to listen. But you also see the frustration out there on both sides of the aisle.
And even after 2 hours of health care reform talk, Congressman McCarthy wasn't done talking, meeting with folks who still had questions.
And what that means is people are more engaged in politics than ever before. They want to know what's happening, and they want to see solutions.
And that was ABC 23's Chris Van Horn reporting. Now, we caught up with some of the thousands of people who attended last night's meeting at the Accardo Center. While it was a friendly forum, so to speak, some people, as you saw, came with very strong opinions. While many were in favor of health care reform, they say they just didn't want it to be run by the government. And, of course, there were those who were simply opposed to both.
I'm here so I can have my voice heard. Health reform, yes. Government run, no. Americans were supposed to be free and have the checks and balances. That's what our constitutional were put in by our forefathers.
I'm against it because simply I buy my own health care. I earn it.
I do support this bill. It's not perfect. It's got a lot of flaws, but I think our congressman would be better served, and we would all be better served if he could work with the administration on this instead of just going, it's against, it's bad. He doesn't like the way it goes.
Congressman McCarthy says he still welcomes any questions or comments about the bill through his website. The debate is nowhere near being over yet and will continue when Congress comes back from summer recess.
One of the big stories this morning is thousands of people packed the Accardo Center last night for a health care town hall meeting hosted by Congressman Kevin McCarthy. It was one of the biggest town hall meetings in the country, and at times it was also heated. Jose Gaspar has a look.
We're going to have discussion, both sides of the aisle. We're going to be respectful to one another.
About 3,000 showed up at the Accardo Center at Cal State for the town hall meeting. The crowd was mostly sympathetic to Congressman Kevin McCarthy, who opposes the president's plan on health care reform.
Why are we wanting to spend more and tax more when unemployment is creeping past 10%? And there are over 4 million illegal immigrants in California.
McCarthy criticized the health care bill as being too costly and being detrimental to private insurance providers. But some wanted answers and told their own horror stories. This man says he got fired when his employer discovered he had multiple sclerosis and depends on the government for health care.
You know, you people who are healthy, you think, oh, we have the world's greatest health care system. Ask the disabled who came here today. We do not have the greatest health care system. We're suffering. And we need our government to stand up for us, and I don't think you are, Mr. McCarthy.
There was a heavy police presence in and outside the Accardo Center, but there was no disruptions, and people were civil. One group of people decided to stay outside the meeting holding signs supporting the health care bill. Most people who attended appeared satisfied with the information they heard, but some were not satisfied.
It's disappointing. We have almost 50 million uninsured people in the United States. Many of them cannot afford health insurance, and he's not addressing that.
I think he did very well, that it's done very well. It's very well handled. It's very organized, and much better organized maybe than some of the earlier ones.
Do you think any minds were changed here tonight, or do you think people already had their minds made up?
No, unfortunately, I think that people already have their minds made up.
Jose Gaspar, Eyewitness News.